Title: The Things That Wait Under the Parking Lot Lights. I've worked the overnight shift as a security guard at a half-dead shopping plaza for a little over 3 years. It's not a glamorous gig, just a dying mall clinging to life with a crusty food court, a dusty discount movie theater, and a few stubborn stores that haven't yet realized they're already ghosts. The kind of place that smells like old pretzels, spilled soda, and nostalgia for a time that never really existed. My job was simple: monitor the CCTV feeds from midnight until 6 a.m., make rounds every hour on the hour, and report anything suspicious, which basically meant shooing away the occasional drunk teenager or stray cat. It was easy money for years. Uneventful. Until 3 nights ago, when something changed. Something in the lights. It started subtly, almost unnoticeably, with the tall parking lot lamps, those towering sodium vapor lights that cast a sickly yellow haze over the asphalt. They began to flicker. Not in a casual, someone needs to call maintenance sort of way. No, these flickers were patterned. Intentional. 3 slow pulses, then a pause, followed by 3 rapid bursts. I didn't think much of it the first time. Chalked it up to faulty wiring or the failing infrastructure we'd been complaining about for months. But then I noticed something strange on camera 7. Every time the lights flickered, the camera feed would freeze, not glitch, not skip, but pause, like someone had physically pressed the spacebar on a live feed. Then, a second later, it would resume. At first, I thought it was just the equipment acting up, but then I started noticing what changed during the freeze. On the first night, it was a pigeon. Just a regular bird, bobbing along near the parking bumpers, pecking at the ground. The lights flickered. The feed froze. And when it resumed, the pigeon was no longer walking. It was standing completely still, wings lifted slightly, like it had been caught mid-flap, frozen in the act of motion. I watched, baffled, for nearly 15 minutes before it moved again, fluttering away as if nothing strange had happened. I told myself maybe I imagined it. Maybe the delay in the feed was longer than I thought. But then, the second night came. This time, it wasn't a bird. It was a man. He showed up around 2:43 a.m., walking in from the far edge of the lot. No car, no sound. Just appeared out of the night, coat fluttering in the windless air. The lights began their now familiar pattern, 3 slow, 3 fast. The feed on camera 7 froze again. And when it resumed, the man was facing the camera. Not casually. Not coincidentally. But staring straight up into the lens, from 40 feet below. His face was pale, unreadable, and his eyes were impossibly dark. He stood like that, unmoving, for 21 minutes. I timed it. Then he turned, slowly, and walked away, disappearing between 2 lampposts near the edge of the lot. The air on the monitor shimmered as he stepped between the lights, like heat haze in winter, and then he was gone. I reviewed the footage frame by frame. One moment, his hands were empty. In the next, something gleamed in his right hand, small and metallic. It might have been a car key, or maybe a scalpel. The resolution on those cameras is terrible, but the shape was wrong for anything normal. I didn't sleep that day. I went back to the office and requested maintenance check the lights. They said they already had, nothing was wrong. That's when I started to panic. Something wasn't right. And last night, I made the mistake of going outside during the flickering. It was a little after 3 a.m. when I stepped out onto the pavement. The usual hum of the lights greeted me. The air was still, unnaturally still. Then the flickering started again. 3 long, 3 short, and with it came a drop in temperature so sharp it made my breath visible. August in the south, and I could see my breath. I heard gravel crunch behind me. I turned fast. No one. But the feeling didn't leave. It pressed on my spine like the edge of a knife. I walked faster. Something followed. I didn't see it, but I felt it. I sprinted the rest of the way back to the security office, slammed the door, locked it, and stared at the monitors. What I saw on the screens made my blood freeze. 5 figures had appeared under 5 separate lamps, evenly spaced along the edge of the parking lot. Their silhouettes were gaunt, limbs too long, torsos too thin, their necks bent at impossible angles. They didn't move, not in a traditional sense. They twitched, jittered, like bad film animation stuck on loop. Every few seconds, one would tilt its head or raise an arm like a puppet jerked by an invisible string. They hadn't walked into the frame. There was no transition. They just appeared. As if the flicker had summoned them into being. And they didn't leave until 4:13 a.m., when all at once they turned in unison and glided, yes, glided, feet never lifting, back toward the far edge of the lot. Just before they vanished, each one looked directly at a different camera. I haven't gone back to work. I drove out of town this morning and checked into a motel 50 miles away. I don't care if they fire me. I don't care if they think I'm crazy. I know what I saw. And last night, just before I fell asleep in this room, I caught something in the corner of my eye through the blinds. Just a flicker. 3 slow. 3 fast. I'm not sure I've gotten away. So if you're reading this, I need you to understand, this isn't just my problem. It's spreading. It might already be where you are. If you're out late, and you find yourself near a poorly lit shopping plaza, watch the parking lot lamps. If they start to pulse in a pattern, 3 slow, 3 fast, run. Don't look. Don't speak. Just get away from the light. Rules to survive the parking lot lights: 1. Keep walking. Never stop, even if someone calls your name. Especially if the voice sounds like yours. 2. Stay silent, they mimic. Any sound you make becomes theirs. 3. Count the flickers: 3 slow, 3 fast means they've seen you. 4. Stay between the lights, never step directly under any one lamp. That's their domain. 5. Never look up, what's above the poles isn't a bird or a bat or a camera. It's waiting. 6. Don't return, if they've noticed you once, they'll always know how to find you. I can't sleep. Not just from fear, but because part of me is sure that if I do, I'll wake up under those lights. And this time, the feed won't freeze. I will. That feeling, that certainty, has grown stronger with each passing hour. It's like something is watching me not just from outside the motel window, but from inside my own thoughts, feeding off the fear that it knows I can't shed. The light in my room flickers sometimes. Not the same rhythm, not yet, but close enough to make my heart skip a beat. I tried switching rooms. I even smashed the light bulb over the sink with the heel of my boot. It didn't help. Because now I realize, it isn't the light that brings them. It's the attention we give to it. The moment we notice the flickering, the moment we start to recognize the pattern, they begin to notice us back. Last night, I covered the windows with motel towels, every last crack sealed tight. I shoved the dresser in front of the door. I unplugged the TV and removed the light bulbs from every fixture. Sat in pure, heavy darkness, clutching a baseball bat I found in the janitor's closet. It was a stupid plan, really. What's a bat going to do against something that slips in between seconds? But I needed to feel something, anything, that might ground me. Still, sometime around 3:11 a.m., I saw it. Through the gap between the towel and the wall, something pushed against the glass. Not a hand. Not a face. Just pressure. Like reality itself was bulging inward. The towel didn't move. The glass didn't shatter. But the shadow behind it breathed. I could hear it. A long, crackling inhale, like gravel being pulled into lungs that never learned to be human. Then a voice, so quiet it was almost in my bones instead of my ears: "You left your post." I don't remember falling asleep. But I remember the dream. In the dream, I was back at the mall, but everything was inverted. The sky was black, not with night, but with absence, like the stars had been wiped away with a wet cloth. The buildings were upside down, hanging from nothing, dripping shadow like molasses. And the parking lot lights. They weren't poles anymore. They were veins, pulsing with light that wasn't light, but hunger. They reached down toward the pavement like insect legs. I was under one, of course. I tried to move, but couldn't. My limbs were glued to the ground. That same flicker started again. 3 long, 3 fast. But it didn't pause time this time, it ripped it open. The moment split, and something crawled out of the tear it made. It looked like me. No, not just like me, it was me. Same face, same clothes, even the same ID badge hanging from the collar. But its mouth was wrong. Too wide. No teeth. Just an empty hole, like someone had scooped out its insides and left only a cavern that screamed without sound. It walked toward me without moving its legs, sliding across the asphalt like oil on glass. I tried to scream, but my voice came out behind me, from the shadows. "Don't fall asleep again," it said. And then the thing wearing my face leaned in and whispered, "We only need one of you." When I woke up, the motel room smelled like sulfur and burnt copper. I packed up and left immediately. Didn't even check out. Just drove. I'm not even sure in what direction. I took back roads, empty highways, unlit stretches of rural nothingness just to stay away from anything with street lamps. I ended up at a gas station around 5 a.m. One of those 24-hour places with buzzing fluorescent signs and a tired-looking attendant who didn't seem fazed when I walked in looking like I'd just escaped a nightmare. I asked him where the nearest town was without a mall. He looked at me like I was crazy but answered. I didn't tell him why. I think, deep down, he already knew. Maybe he'd seen them too. Now I'm holed up in an old cabin I found for rent online, about 2 hours from the nearest commercial zone. No lights outside except the stars and the moon, and even those seem dimmer now. I thought I could run from it. Thought putting miles between me and that place would help. But this morning, when I checked my phone, there was a notification from the mall's security system app, the one I never deleted. Motion detected, parking lot camera 7. I didn't open the video. I didn't need to. I could already see them in my head. Those long-limbed shadows. That still, perfect stillness. That frozen moment where time stutters and things slip through. And then, not long after, I got a second notification. One I never expected. Live view access granted, remote user, unknown device. Someone was watching the cameras. Someone else. Or something else. I deleted the app immediately, threw the phone into the lake behind the cabin, and smashed the router. I don't care. I know it won't stop them. I think the lights are just how they get in. The cameras, the patterns, the frozen seconds, they're just tools. They've always known where we are. We're the ones who forgot where we were standing. Last night, I lit a fire in the cabin's stone hearth and sat up, weapon in hand, determined not to sleep. But around 3 a.m., the flames dimmed, not all at once, but gradually, as if the oxygen in the room was being eaten by something unseen. I stared at the embers and realized they were flickering. 3 slow. 3 fast. I wanted to run. But I didn't. I stood my ground. I whispered to the darkness, "I see you." The flickering stopped. The air held its breath. And from somewhere deep in the cabin's walls, something laughed. I think I've learned the truth now. The lights are not what they seem. They're not warnings or portals or surveillance. They're invitations. And every time you see them flicker, every time you stop and watch, you're answering. You're opening the door. They don't need to force their way in. They just need you to notice. And now that you're reading this, you already have. It starts slowly, doesn't it? A flicker in the corner of your eye. A hesitation in the air before a lamp fully ignites. Maybe it's your bedroom light dimming for a second too long. Maybe the gas station sign across the street buzzes louder than usual. You'll chalk it up to a power surge, a faulty bulb, or tired eyes. But the pattern will come. 3 slow. 3 fast. And the moment you recognize it, truly recognize it, they'll know. You'll feel that first ripple, something inside you trembling, something ancient, cellular, a warning passed down from ancestors who huddled together in caves when the night wasn't just cold, but watching. And then, something will shift. Time will bend. Sounds will stretch. And you will realize, far too late, that you are no longer alone. I left the cabin that same night. I didn't gather my things, didn't even close the door behind me. The laugh in the walls grew louder, gurgling, folding over itself in wet layers. I didn't dare look back, but I heard it, something dragging across the wooden floor. Not footsteps. Not breathing. A long, continuous dragging, like a wet rug being pulled through broken glass. I ran into the woods, praying the moonlight would keep me safe, but even the sky seemed to be in on it. The stars dimmed the further I went. The trees leaned closer. And somewhere above, I saw a soft orange glow, not from the moon, not from fire, but from a single street lamp, standing alone in the forest, tall and humming like it had always been there. It flickered as I passed it. 3 slow. 3 fast. I collapsed beneath it and wept. I don't remember how long I was unconscious, but when I woke up, the sun had risen, and the lamp was gone. No trace of it. No pole, no base, not even disturbed soil. Just me, alone in a clearing that had never been on any map. I stumbled toward a road, hitchhiked into a town I didn't recognize, and paid a kid to use their phone. But when I looked at the screen, every app had that same notification: live view, parking lot camera 7. Even the ones that shouldn't have cameras. Even the calculator. Even the clock. I dropped the phone and ran. The towns I stop in now are smaller. Quieter. I sleep during the day, keep moving at night. I stay away from cities, from shopping centers, from anything with structured light. I've learned to walk in darkness. It's safer there. The lamps don't flicker in pure dark, they only reach for the dim. They feed on what we almost see. On what we try to see. And I've stopped trying. I wear sunglasses at dusk, keep my head low when I pass under power lines. I no longer trust reflections, glass, or screens. I cover digital clocks with tape. I've smashed more light bulbs than I can count. But even now, Sometimes, I hear the buzz. The whine. The laugh. One night, in an empty diner 2 towns over, I met a woman sitting alone with a blanket pulled over her head. I nearly ignored her, until I heard her muttering the rhythm under her breath. 3 slow. 3 fast. 3 slow. 3 fast. I sat across from her, gently, and she didn't look up. Just whispered, "They don't take you." That's what everyone thinks, but they don't. They leave something in your place. Something quieter. Something that still answers your phone and looks like you, but it's not you anymore. You're somewhere else, watching. Screaming. Then she turned her head slightly, just enough for me to see her left eye. It was completely white, with a faint, pulsing orange glow in the center like a dying star. I didn't ask questions. I didn't say goodbye. I left, and I never looked back. That's the trick, I've learned. Never look back. The thing wearing your face always walks a few steps behind. Last night, I stayed in a field beneath an overpass, far from any artificial light. I wrapped myself in blankets, head to toe, and pretended not to hear the low hum in the wind. Pretended not to see the distant flicker beyond the hill. But when I woke up, something was different. My shoes were gone. A strange, silvery coin rested in my palm, etched with the image of a street lamp, its bulb bursting with flame. I hadn't seen it before. I hadn't picked it up. And when I closed my hand around it, I heard it, my own voice, whispering from inside the coin, "You're already under the light." I dropped it, screamed, and ran until my lungs gave out. But I knew it wouldn't matter. It's not about distance anymore. The flicker isn't bound to place, it's bound to awareness. Once you know the pattern, once you feel the pull, it's like a song that never stops playing. You'll hear it in the static of a dead channel. In the rhythm of windshield wipers. In the blinking cursor as you type. You'll start to feel like you're being timed. Like something is counting down, and when the countdown ends, you won't be here anymore. Something will. So this is my final warning. I've written it on paper, mailed it to post offices with no return address. I've carved it into bathroom stalls at truck stops, scratched it into the sides of freight trains, whispered it to sleeping passengers on night buses. Someone has to remember. Someone has to look away. Because when the flickering starts, when your world stutters for just a second too long, it isn't your eyes adjusting. It's them, adjusting to you. And once they see you, really see you, they never stop watching.